Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lin Li Fu.
That's right, you're with me, Lin Li, and welcome to Good Tech, where we spotlight the inspiring ways technology meets purpose, showcasing innovations and ideas that are driving real impact for social good. Now, in a recent U.S. survey by the Harris Poll, nearly half of Gen Z adults aged 18 to 27 said they wish platforms like TikTok or Snapchat had never been invented. And 8 in 10 have tried to limit their social media use. But that's easier said than done, right? When the apps are designed to keep you scrolling. So today we are talking to the founders of Snowball, which is an app that flips the script, helping you spend your free time more intentionally and meaningfully. Joining me in the studio are Sindhu Mohan.
Hi.
And Vishnu Sundarasan.
Hello.
Welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for being here in the studio with me. Now, before we get into the details, how has the response been since launch? Are people getting the concept right away?
Yeah, so it's been a few weeks, and I think it's very refreshing. People are so used to the crazy algorithms of TikTok and Instagram. So one of the first few things they tell us is, this is simple, the first social media app that probably is designed to get you off the app because, our business model is different.
Okay, and Vishnu?
Yeah, no, we have seen a lot of people join in the last few weeks. We launched a few weeks before that. And the most common thing I hear is that, I never knew people were so passionate about so many different things outside of work. I didn't know everybody has a second life.
Okay. Now, your research shows a lot of Gen Z adults in that Harris poll are frustrated with social media, some even wishing certain platforms had never been created. And I think you've noted the rise of what you call mindless content, memes, TV clips recycled just to keep us scrolling. What made you decide it was time to build something different?
So actually, the way we started, we originally had a different idea. We wanted to build a personalized AI assistant that keeps track of your tasks and manages your time. And so we built a prototype and got a bunch of people to use it and test it. But what we realized from the response was that people actually, it's not a difficult thing to manage their work, and those that need help have the tools that they need. But the more painful problem we noticed with these people was that they were struggling to find ways to plan their time outside of work, struggling to spend their time more meaningfully in ways they wanted to. And so when we talk to these people, most of them after work, they have a lot of unstructured free time that they, because they haven't planned it out, end up spending on social media, scrolling, or consuming passive content like on TV shows or movies, and then end the day not having achieved things they actually wanted to. And so we wanted to niche down or narrow down on the problem and find a way that makes it easier and more fun to do things outside of work, or actively spend more time on things you actually want to do.
Okay, but having said that, it's not entirely about rejecting social media, right? It's just using it differently?
Yeah. We ourselves want to have a social media where the priority is on doing things in real life, or doing things that you actively want to spend your time on, maybe your hobbies, maybe your side interests, maybe something you want to check out or explore. So to do that in a more nicer or a better community where people are more motivational and help each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that same poll showed that 8 in 10 Gen Z adults have tried to limit their screen time. Why do you think they're feeling this push to step back?
Yeah, this shift in behavior, right? I would say one of the reasons is that especially teens and Gen Z adults, they have been online their whole lives. They have been brought up with all these mobile apps and so on. And humans, we are not meant to be online this much. It causes a lot of stress, anxiety. I'm sure we all feel overwhelmed when we, after doom scrolling for an hour, and be like, what did I actually do in the last 1 hour? So, yeah, and the thing is, because Gen Z adults, they don't know how life used to be before this. They don't know how to solve this. They have never had hobbies. So it's even more difficult for this specific age group. So there have been like some people trying to solve this. Like there are screen time apps, they're becoming very popular, but they're not as effective. After a few months, you just end up clicking ignore time limit and continue scrolling. So that is why I think hobbies have become a lot more popular, because an easy way to reduce the time online is to replace it with something else.
I see.
And that's what hobbies have been super useful for.
Okay, and why do you think hobbies have taken on this bigger role?
So I think hobbies have been a pretty important part of like social and human life for a while now. The trend we observed is that in the 2 decades prior to COVID, there was a decline in people actually caring about their hobbies based on trends. So the thing that happened was that after COVID, I think everybody took a pause, then took a second to reflect. And once we got out of that time, the phase, suddenly everyone wanted to spend their time more actively and do things that actually were meaningful. And so that was one big shift we noticed. And it's been, like Sindhu said, a few apps have already started to do this. There's been like a lot of rise in running clubs, book clubs, reading clubs, singing, music, dance clubs and societies. And that's part of the same trend we're trying to, capture and capitalize. Yeah.
Yeah, and hobbies, I think, are essential to mental health and self-expression, which we'll be talking about a bit later. But let's get into the app itself. How does Snowball work, and how does it replace things like likes and follow accounts with something more meaningful?
Yeah. So how Snowball works, I mean, we like to call it social media for hobbies. So basically, like any social media, you can post stuff, but the difference is that it has to be attached to an activity. So it's optional to add a picture or add some notes to it, but it has to be an activity that you did. And we'll be manually reviewing to make sure that it's an activity and you're not just posting news or political content or movie clips and so on, which is what apps like Instagram and TikTok seems to be full of these days. So it's really just you open Snowball, you log what you did, and then you see what others have did as well. So that is how Snowball works. So there's a feed, but instead of being ranked by engagement, which is how social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok is ranked by, we go by showing you activities that others have logged that is similar to what you have logged. Because one insight that we learned is that people are interested in seeing what others who are doing the same activities as you are doing. So if you log gardening, you're more interested in seeing what others who log gardening is posting about. So that is what is a lot activity focused, I would say, more than the number of followers you have, the number of likes you get.
That's right. And it's a big shift, right? Because without those public metrics, the pressure drops, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so can you walk us through how Snowball works?
Yeah. So every time you do an activity, you just open and you select what activity it is. So there's a list of activities. When you're onboarding, you also get to pick some activities that you are more likely to do. And then you can add a picture, you can add some notes. When you post it, it shows up on the feed. You actually have the option of either making the log public or only friends or private. So it's every log, you have the option of that. It's also very focused on friends. So you're not here trying to maximize the number of followers you have. There are also like the likes it's by reactions. It's not like you just like and see how many likes you get. But yeah, other than that, there's also a lot of insights that you get from logging on Snowball. So over time, you can see, we give you insights like, hey, you have logged reading 17 times last month. That is 20% more than the previous month.
Okay.
So it gives you a lot of insights of how you are spending your time.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. But how does the app help me understand this? How does it help people actually choose and stick to the activities that matter to them?
So in the app, we have a list of activities that we've curated, like she said. And so when somebody wants to add an activity to their account, they just have to select that activity, and then you can log up whatever you want to log for that. And you can also set a goal. So the goal is to help them stay consistent. It can be a weekly or daily target, and you get notifications and small reminders to nudge you to follow these targets. And that's basically how we keep people consistent. Apart from that, of course, there's the quote-unquote social pressure of your friends and your family or whoever you know doing the same activities that you like, and you seeing them and thinking, oh, wait, okay, time to go for a run.
Okay, well, sounds good. Sindhu, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when coming up with Snowball?
Yeah, so many. Where do I even start? So, in the startup industry in general, consumer startups are not very common, especially social media startups, because over the last few years, it has been B2B SaaS. And right now, because of the whole AI boom, it's always an AI startup. So it's very difficult to find people, that includes, advisors or investors, who understand how social media startups work. So the advice we get is also very different because they are a lot more applicable to enterprise tools, for example. Like, for example, one common startup advice is to focus on revenue from day one. And that's not something that we can do for social media, because our number one priority is to maximize the value we are providing to our users. And Snowball is going to be free for users. We will only probably think about monetizing by partnering with brands once we reach a big enough community, which is, we're not at that stage yet. So a lot of advice is not very applicable. So it's very hard to sort of navigate this startup journey. And also when we do raise, it's also important. I'm sure it will be even more challenging for us to find investors that understand our vision and mission.
Okay. I'm just wondering, how does encouraging intentional use of one's free time make a difference to mental health and well-being?
So that's actually a pretty relevant question. There's one important thing that needs to be noted about unstructured or unintentional free time. When you have unstructured and unintentional free time, it's easier, or people tend to do more passive things. So consuming content, going online, or watching TV. And while that's not wrong in itself and nothing bad about it, what happens is these are activities that don't necessarily replenish your energy or help you regulate your mood. And so you're going to get these small, quick dopamine hits from doing this, which feels nice. But in the long run, it actually can be associated with not helping you have great mood, or lower self-esteem, or even lower pride. While on the other hand, if you have structured free time when you are very intentional with how you spend time you consider free, it actually can be very useful to you, and especially in your health and mental health, because they, first of all, reinforce your own actions. You've chosen to do this, and there's a sense of accomplishment about actually doing what you want to do. And apart from that, of course, it helps helps with mood regulation and generally feel better by yourself because of, choosing some specific activity that you think is good for you. And so, in general, this is a thing we've seen where planning out and being intentional with your free time can lead to really good outcomes, especially in the long run, that a lot of people seem to be missing right now over the past few years.
I know it's early days yet. You've only launched a few weeks, you mentioned earlier. Are there any real-life examples so far where users have reported a change in their digital habits?
Yeah, actually, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since we launched. But despite that, we've gotten a lot of really nice feedback or comments about how people are just so excited to see other people being really passionate, or people are really excited that the app is so simple and it's not cluttered and it's not trying to push some agenda or some advertising in their face. And it's very simple. It gets to the point, which is that, get out of your phone and go and do whatever you want to do. And I think a lot of our users are actually embracing that. They embrace that whole idea of an app that actually wants to get you off the app. It's a lot more relaxing in a way to not have to be constantly stimulated, and instead, kind of want to focus on yourself.
Guys, this is quite an interesting and exciting initiative. So what's next? Are there features or partnerships on the horizon?
Yeah. For sure, we have so many plans and ideas. One of it would be integrations with other apps to make it easier for people to log. So one common activity that people have been logging is running, actually. So a lot of them, what they do is they screenshot from Strava and they post it on Snowball. So we can make that easier by just directly integrating with them. Another idea is to make insights a bit more complex. So earlier I mentioned an example of this is how many times you log this activity. We could even use AI to come out with even more complex insights that analyze what you wrote in your logs so it remembers and just makes the logging experience a lot more meaningful. And the final thing that we really want to work on is physical events. People love meeting new people. And it's even better when you're meeting people with similar hobbies and activities. So we would love to partner with communities and bring people together to do more of these activities.
Okay, very quickly, where can people find Snowball if they're interested in checking it out?
Yeah, you can search up Snowball Live More on App Store and Play Store, and you can download the app for free. And our website is www.snowball.day.
And before you go, if you could indulge me in my hobby when I'm in the studio, let's have a rapid fire round of questions. 1 or 2 word answers within 5 seconds. Okay, guys? Ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
One hobby you've picked up recently.
Swimming.
Baking.
Screen time yesterday, more or less than 1 hour.
More.
Less.
Time spent on Snowball today.
2 hours, 3 hours.
That's a lot.
Yeah, probably 2 hours.
First thing you do on a phone-free weekend.
Actually listen to the radio.
No way.
Of course you say that.
No, I'm serious, yeah.
I don't know, spend time with my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Sindhu Mohan and Vishnu Sundarasan, founders of Snowball, the app redefining how we spend our free time. Maybe the next big thing online is helping us live better offline.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.